Are we live? Are we live? Um, I think we are. Um, Let me just tell you that this is the first time I announced this, and I'm not seeing myself here, but it's coming on now. Um, this is the first time I actually announced my live stream, so I was a little nervous, but before we begin, let me talk to my Portuguese constituents, to my Portuguese family. I'm sorry, they're not constituents. Se você é português, você quer ver esse em português, você vai ter que ter uns 20 a 30 minutos de paciência. Depois eu vou falar sobre essa coisa em português. Muito obrigado por sua paciência. So thanks for your patience. I just told them to wait a little. I'm gonna do this in Portuguese later. That's the disadvantage of live streaming, in my case. What I wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see it, but we have a little jewel at the back here, at the background. On this side, we have the science fiction, and on this side, we have the science, and that is what my life is all about. From the beginning, not from the beginning, but from when I was young, when I actually started school and I started, learning about science because my mother has brought me up in a as a Catholic, and we're gonna talk about this later. Because what we are gonna talk about today is uh, the human free. The I said here the human frequency. It's actually the Schumann frequency. I see this is wrong now uh, in the title, that it is wrong in the title. I don't know why, but it is the Schumann frequency that we're going to talk about. Uh, but let me first tell you about something else. Uh, there are people that has to do with the Schumann frequency. There are people, they say that the Mandela effect is actually, we're vibrating in a certain way, and that we that we shift between vibrations, and that every reality has its own vibration, and that is why we are actually shifting from one reality to another, and that is why the Mandela effect is happening. That is a theory. It is one theory. Now, what is the Schumann frequency? For people who don't know it, and I just researched it today, just a little to know what it's all about. It is apparently a frequency that exists on the Earth. The Earth has a certain frequency. It has to do with the some difference in the ionosphere and the stratosphere in relation with the Earth, and there is a frequency. Now, many say it's a frequency of 7.85, a very low frequency, and people are saying that this frequency has doubled since recording, that it is going up and that it is going up fast. Now, why is that possibly dangerous, or why is that certainly important? Because throughout life, this frequency has existed, and we have been tuned to this frequency, apparently. Even our DNA has been tuned to this specific frequency, meaning that we are actually uh, used to its frequency, and that we live in this frequency. It is even so that there have been experiments where they locked up people and they just took away the human frequency, and they actually got ill. They started feeling bad. They started not functioning good. And then what happened is, when they took the blockage away and the frequency came back, they started feeling good again. Now, scientists have found out in the last few years that this frequency has been going up. And this has been now linked to the Mandela effect. That the ascension of, or at least the frequency the up that goes up, that has to do with the fact that our realities are shifting, that we are shifting with this human frequency. And some people, like Dr. Terran Lupo, they think that maybe the people who are affected by the Mandela effect, who are Mandela affected, I'm sorry for that, that they actually are the ones going with the frequency, and that we feel or see or somehow experience these reality shifts. And the other people who are not experiencing these shifts, that they are still at the same frequency. They're still at that 7.85 frequency. It's a number that goes out there. I don't know it's a correct one. I saw it all through my research this afternoon. So some people think that maybe if we keep following this vibration, keep following this upgoing vibration, that we might reach ascension. Ascension in the fact that we will go up to a better life, to a better reality, to some degree. Now, I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't know if this is real, or I don't know if my frequency is following the frequency, the human frequency. What I do know is that within the Mandela community, there are people who have like the total Mandela experience. What am I talking about? There are some things that I do not remember, like most of them who are Mandela affected, but I'm a Mandela affected too, because there are a number of things, very many things that I do remember, like a Mandela effect. Now, when Dr. Lupo was talking about ascension, immediately the word that came into my mind was rapture. Is the world being prepared for the rapture that we find in the Bible? Now, I'm going to tell you some bit of my personal life. That is, my mother was very Catholic. She had me. She brought me up as a Catholic, so I know some of the Bible. But then I got studying science. You know, this side. Um, and what happened was that I got immersed in that science, and that science became my truth, my truth. And I sort of left the Bible a little. But I had still this feeling that something profound, or something, some force or something uh, is at the base of this world, that there is a creator or of some sort. And that's why I immediately thought about rapture, because I know about the Bible. I know what the apocalypse says, the book, you know, of the apocalypse says. Not literally, but you know. And now a lot of the Mandela effects apparently come from the Bible, like the lion lays down with the lamb. I I really I learned the Bible in Dutch, but I really believe, because I have this in my mind. When we learned it, it was indeed the lion that lay with the lamb, and not the wolf like they say now. And you know, is that ascension? Could that be going to the rapture, or referring to the rapture? And is the rapture coming? Now, the problem with that is that I sort of halfway lost my faith. So, and I'm experiencing this Mandela effect. So it was really religious. Why would God prepare me for the rapture? And I got thinking, and this is all speculation, but I may not be a very religious guy. I may be more the sciencey bit guy, and that was what made the Mandela effect so difficult for me to accept. What still there is still some duality about that. I'm still not sure about all these things, but I may not be a religious person. But what I try to do in my life is I try to be good for my fellow man. I try to accept the problems they have. I try to help them. Uh, I'm not the the all good doer and stuff. I have my faults. I have I make mistakes in life. I'm not the perfect father, the perfect husband. I don't know what, but at least I try to do this in a way that is, that is not like it's all about me in this life. So is it possible that that creator, the God or Allah or whatever you want to call him, and that he is preparing the world for rapture or for ascension in a way, that he is not really looking for the people who go to church every day and believe every day? Because I think there are some people that go to church and stuff that's who are kind of hypocritical, who kind of pray to God but not live the way God may want, and maybe this creator is just looking for these people uh, th- that live the way he wants them to live and not necessarily um, pray to him or anything. I don't know. It's all speculation. Um, it's all possible that this vibration stuff and that it has nothing to do with God and the religion and whatever. Because I did a video, I think a week back, about theories about the Mandela effect, and I put them into categories. One was the simulation hypothesis, there was the multiverse hypothesis, and there was the fact that our reality is really changing, that there is just one reality, but the reality is changing somehow. This vibration theory can actually fit into two categories. The multiverse, you can have different vibrations in different realities, and then you go from one to the next. Or our reality can really be changing without there having to be a multiverse, and our frequency is going up together with the Schumann frequency, and that makes it all so complicated and so difficult. But what I wanted to tell you about that other video, I said I saw the entire thing as a positive thing, the Mandela effect as a positive thing, and I still see it that way. Only I've been thinking about it more and more and more, and there is always a duality in this life. There's always kind of a yin and a yang, a positive and a negative side to things. There is always a dark side, if you catch my drift. And there are some dark side Mandela effects out there about C3PO and Luke, I am your father, and so. But there is always good and evil, and there's always this struggle between good and evil. And is that the thing that's coming up? Straying a little from the Schumann frequency, Dr. Terran Lupo said that these small changes in the logos of cars, in the quotes from movies, uh, that small stuff. He says it's probably a beacon for us to find us. Aren't we not like the 4400, which is a series about people who were abducted by aliens and then came back all together? Uh, is it a beacon that we can find, all the Mandela affected, and that we can do something positive with this? Okay, that's a possibility. But could it be a distraction? And I've said this before, could it be a distraction from the big things that are changing? although we are seeing the big things too, the you know, the anatomy changes, and I did a vid about that too, and the geological changes, you know, and that's a bit the struggle, and that's the duality of my life, as it always has been, between science and 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 uh, and non-science, or science and and the paranormal, or now it's, I mean, my analytical mind still has problems sometimes to accept the Mandela effect, but I was hit with it like with a ton of bricks. I was hit with it, and you know, it's very difficult for me to discount it, and it's still kind of probably can fit into a scientific theory, probably something we don't know yet, something we can't find yet, you know. And that's a bit the difficulty of my life. That's the duality of my life. And now this human frequency came up, and that vibration theory of, are we vibrating and are we following the human frequency and the rest isn't. I don't really know about it. If you have any opinions about this, please leave in the comments. I am always happy to learn and happy, you know, to talk to you guys. And I'm gonna close down this live stream. In a moment, I'm gonna start another one, but it's gonna be in Portuguese for my Portuguese fans and families and family that is out there. And I'm gonna have to reboot this live stream in Portuguese. So I hope you liked what I was saying. If you did, slap a like on it, subscribe if you haven't. I got another channel, I got a main channel where I talk about mysteries and give the theories and the explanations to those mysteries, and then I let you make up your mind. So there is a link of my main channel in the description below, and of my social media if you want to like follow me in social media or something. So I hope you like this, and I'll be seeing you hopefully next time. Bye.